Hello and welcome to Craft with Sarah and day 14 of the Halloween Craft Countdown, where I'm sharing 20 brand new Halloween paper crafts with you in 20 days. Today we're back to layered papercraft designs, and will it be a trick or will it be a treat? I love this design, it's so bright and colourful. The letters are built up using a build downwards format, similar to the shadow box we did for day 4 of the countdown. But for this layered design, some of the bits do pop out too. So we've got the ore in the middle with the candles, the candy corn and the sweets on top, they all come outwards. And then the rest of it is all done with that build downwards technique to get all of those colours in. This is a fab, vibrant design for Halloween. Let's get started. The files for this project are free for the next 24 hours. Here's how to download them. Register a free ticket for the Halloween Craft Countdown at craftwithsarah.com/HCC25. After registering, you'll get an email which contains a link to the schedule page for the countdown. Visit the schedule page to find and download today's files. Each download is only available for free for 24 hours after it goes live. If you've missed some, check out the Instant Access bundle at craftwithsarah.com/HCC25 bundle, which gives immediate and ongoing access to all of the files from the Halloween Craft Countdown, plus loads of extra bonus designs. Or purchase just this design at craftwithsarah.com/products. To find the designs from this countdown, click into the Occasions filter and choose Halloween. The designs will appear here each day once they become available to buy. The download comes in a zip folder. You need to unzip this before uploading the SVG files into Cricut Design Space. Once you've downloaded and unzipped the folder, load up Cricut Design Space and start a new project. Click Upload over on the left and then Upload Image. You can then either click Browse to find a file on your computer or drag and drop it in. Make sure you choose the unzipped version of the download folder, and within there look in 01 Cricut version. If you're using a different type of cutting machine, such as a Silhouette or a Scan and Cut, head to craftwithsarah.com/help for separate videos on how to choose the right file for your type of machine. I'll go into 01 Cricut version, and there's one file within there that starts SVG-01 in the file name. Click and drag that in, and this is what it looks like. Press Continue. There's no need to change anything on this screen, just press Upload, and then the design will be inserted onto your canvas. You can close out the menu on the left by clicking the arrow about halfway down the page. This design loads in at a good size to cut, which is 7 inches wide and almost 6.5 inches tall. But if you want to, you can change that. To change it, click the design and make sure the padlock icon above the width and the height box is closed. If yours is open, you can click it to close it. Then you can type either the width or the height, press enter on your keyboard, and the other measurement will change in proportion. If you want to change the colours, click the arrow next to the design in the Layers panel, and that will let you look through all of the different pieces in the design to see what you want to change. For example, maybe instead of green for these pieces, I want to make it, I don't know, pink. I'm just trying to think of a colour we don't have. So I look through until I find the lime green, go into the colour box over here, and then start with a red. Go for a pink. You see that's changed there. And maybe a lighter pink. And then I would need to find this darker green, which is this one here. Click that one. And then change that to a darker pink. To show you another example, if I wanted to change this purple, I'd look until I found the purple layer, which is this one. And then change that to maybe a red. And then you can keep going for as few or as many pieces as you want to change. However, I'm going to do mine as it came, so I'll undo those changes and also put it back to the original size of 7 inches wide. There we go. When you're happy to cut this out, press Make over on the top. I'm not going to save it, and that will separate out all the colours for you. You can change the paper size in the drop down here. I tend to use A4 card. And then if you want to, you can click and drag to move things about to try and take up less space on your cardstock. If you press Shift when you rotate, it can help you get things exactly 90 degrees around. Make sure if you're moving things that you don't have anything overlapping, otherwise it won't cut out properly. If you're changing the paper size, you'll need to do it for each colour individually. When you're happy with how everything's looking, press Continue to connect to your Cricut and then follow the on-screen instructions to get everything cut from your cardstock. Here are all the pieces of my Trick or Treat layer design cut out, and I've laid them one on top of the other following the assembly guide that's included in the download folder. We'll be sticking this together with a combination of glue and foam squares. The glue I'm using is Barely Art glue, but I also like Kalal, and the reason I like these two glues is they don't bend or wrinkle the card like other glues can do. The foam squares I'm using are from Dot and Dab. These ones are 2mm thick and they're quite small, which means I'll be able to get it into the details nice and easily, but if yours are larger, you can cut them smaller with scissors. As with all my layer projects, we're going to start at the bottom and work upwards. So let's move these pieces away, taking care to sort of leave them in their little groups as I've already gone to the effort of putting them in place. There are a few little pieces in this one to fill in some of the letters. For example, we've got these bits on the R. Got my bottom here. And then you can either glue the black R so it sort of sits in the middle of the R shape on there and then glue that one on top. Or if you're worried about getting the placement exactly right, you can glue it to the back of this layer with the polka dots instead. And that's what I'm going to do. So first up, I'll need to glue the white one onto the black one. And turn that upside down. And then the glue will go around here. I'll put the glue directly on the green and then stick that over the top. That way I just know that all of the holes are definitely going to be covered up. It doesn't matter if you put a bit too much glue on like I've done here. And then while we're here, around the eye at the top, we've got this white rectangle to go over those gaps. I'll do the same thing, just put a little bit of glue around here and then stick that over. Oh, I haven't quite got my R in place. Let's wiggle that about. You want the black to be showing through exactly in the middle of the letter. There we are. The nice thing about glue is if it's not quite right, you do have a little bit of time to move it about to get it in the right place. Now I'm going to glue this onto my bottom layer. Lots of gluing in this design because it's lots of sheets of card with all the different colours. So it'll still be quite thick even though there's only a little bit of foam square going on. Get the bottom bit back in, and this will go on top. I've just noticed I've got a slight mistake on this layer. Nothing that will cause a problem, but I've got this cut out bit here on the T. You can see that in there, but that's going to end up being covered up by my next layer. So before you get the file, I will fill in that gap on that lighter green so that you won't have it. Sometimes it doesn't matter how many times you look at the layers on the computer screen, you only notice things when you actually come to put it together. But that's fine. Okay, next up is the yellow, and this one will also be glued. Next up is the lighter yellow, but before we stick this on, I'm going to turn it upside down, and there's a circle to go on the back of the A. That will fill in the gap in the middle. Like that, and then glue the rest. just realised I've also got to stick the white tea on at this point. So that goes over here. Yours will be much easier because you'll have the assembly guide with you. But I generally make them after I've recorded the videos. Take your time when lining the layers up. The more precisely they're aligned, the better the finished thing will look. See, it's really starting to take shape now. Next up is the blue piece. This is getting quite sturdy now. On to the next bit. On the design, this layer is purple, but when I was choosing the colours, I thought this hot pink just really sets everything else off. So I cut it in pink, even though the design is purple. So if yours is purple, that is why mine's different. I just thought, as I was doing it, with my particular shades I've got here, pink worked well. But purple would also work well. Trying to use up my pink card. I've got loads of it and I hardly ever use it, which is strange because I really like pink. I would say it's probably my favourite colour, but for some reason my projects just never really seem to feature pink. Even at Valentine's Day it tends to be more red than pink. So if you've got any ideas for what I can make with all my pink card, got baby pink, regular pink, hot pink like this, kind of deep pink, pink that sort of looks like purple, pink that sort of looks like red. Lots and lots of pink. Now it's the last of these big layers to be glued on top. There's the trick and treat parts done. I love how it just suddenly comes to life when that black outline goes on and you can see everything. It's so nice with all those different colours and the subtle layering effects from where it's so many different bits of card. Looks really nice. It doesn't really matter which parts you do next. We've got the sweets along the top, the ore in the middle with the candles, and the candy corn at the bottom. As they're now all separate builds, you can do them in any order you want. I'm going to start from the top and do this little sweet. It's 3 pieces in total. The white goes on first, and this one will be done with our first layer of foam squares. Add your foam squares on the bottom, then peel the tops off to reveal the stickiness underneath. Next up is the yellow to be glued. And then the black layer also glued. Just making sure before I put the glue on there it's definitely the right way round. The rectangles should line up exactly, so that's the right way round. If I'd have glued it that way, that would be the wrong way. Actually, it sort of almost lines up, but it means there's little bits of yellow peeking into these 2 white bits. It's not quite as neat, whereas this way round, it's perfectly neat on all of the sections. This one's a little tricky to add the glue to as it's very thin. Okay, then we've got the other sweet up here. Once again, this is 3 layers starting with the orange. On my cardstock, I was really not liking these little lines in the side of the sweet, and it's gone a bit messy, so I'm going to trim them off. And then before you get the design, I'll thicken them up so that they'll be easier to cut. I'd rather lose the bit of detail than have it looking messy. That's the wrong way. That's the right way. Then the black piece. This did slightly better at those details than the pink card. But again, I'll thicken them up before you get them. Sweet, done. Okay, onto the ore. The bottom layer, getting confused. The bottom layer here is the black one, and this will be done with foam squares. As this is thin and the candles are quite small, I'm going to cut some of my foam squares smaller with scissors. Just go straight down so that I can get bits into those candle flames and along the bit at the bottom. Line it up and then gently drop down so that if I'm not happy with the positioning, if I can get it off my fingers, then I can move it again. That's looking good, so push down to stick. Next up, turn the white piece upside down and we'll stick the R to the back. It doesn't go right up to the edge, there's a little border all the way around. And then this will be glued on top. Then glue on the black. Then you can either glue or use foam squares for the flames. I am gluing them as they're so small. I think it will look more effective with glue. Just the candy corn left. 4 pieces this time. Start with the white with foam squares. And next up, yellow. Got those little bits of pink that I cut off all over my desk now. And then orange. And finally, the black. Okay, let's just check I've got that going the right way. And there we have it, trick or treat, layered design, all finished. It's so bright and colourful, I love it. You could even try it in more traditional Halloween colours if you wanted to, rather than adding in blues and, in my case, pinks. But I just think that is so nice and cheerful and lovely, and I really like it. I hope that you enjoyed crafting along with me to make this trick or treat layered design for Halloween. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more Cricut crafts and free SVGs. I hope to see you tomorrow for day 15 of the Halloween craft countdown, but for now, thank you so much for watching. Bye!